gonna give you some tea.
No.
Uh, we made a Spotify blend together,
We did.
and
I think it's fun.
It's been really cool to listen.
What's it called?
to
Bagel Boys?
Bagel Boys.
Nice. Why is it bagel?
New York City.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay.
We eat bagels and listen to music notoriously.
We do.
We do.
That's
all
like
the
everything.
time.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
our thing. And
Created
I
a
was
blend.
listening to the blend, and it was a great mix. Like we had a 96% likeness, which was awesome.
That was very cool.
That was
I didn't know
cool.
you could get like that
Yeah,
close.
I didn't know you were chill like that, you know. And I can tell there are some songs that come on that I'm like, oh, this is a me song, and I'm not even looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a Brian song, and I'm looking at it. And those songs, I'm like, oh yeah, I know we vibe with it.
Yeah.
Tell me why. I put the blend on because I like to
no.
listen to music while I'm
Oh
showering.
no.
And Owl City starts playing.
Owl City. Was it Fireflies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love Firefly.
I had to, dripping water on my hands, run to my phone and click skip because
you would not believe your eyes if 10 million
that
fire.
song
We're gonna
is
get copyrighted.
so overrated.
Oh,
it's like
my God!
I used to hear it way too much. I think it's such a. It's not that it's a bad song. I just don't ever want to hear it again. It was overplayed.
That's
It's one of those songs of the year
insane.
that just got too many listens. And my dance teacher, because I was in a dance class, made us do improv performative dance to that song. And so maybe that's why I A, don't dance anymore, and B, don't like that song because I was traumatized. And I was like, oh, this is such a Brian song. Like it feels like you.
Because it's a great song. I don't know what you want from me. I love it.
I don't know. Like if you listen to that song,
I'd like to make myself believe.
Oh, planet Earth. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's not for me.
Be careful with those peaks, man. Look at them.
Can I just start the podcast already?
No.
Hey everyone, welcome to Coast of the Mediaverse. I'm Michael.
And I'm Brian.
And welcome back.
What's going on, y'all?
You know, if you're checking in with us, you've pretty much heard all of our foundational episodes. We've gone into movies, books, media, and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And there are things we've missed, which some of you have let us know. Other of you haven't got to the comment section yet, and that's okay.
Yeah. 5 episodes out now?
5 episodes out.
Yeah. Movies, TV, games, books, podcasts, music, and literally everything else. But yeah, what are we here to talk about today?
I think today we kind of wanted to get into some special episodes for you right before we get into starting to just kind of be more natural with y'all. We want to tell you a little bit more about the title and the name. You've seen the Mediaverse. You understand all the things that we're into and we like talking about and what that kind of looks like for us. But why coasting?
True, because I did have a few people ask us. They were like, why not traveling or journeying or, exploring the Mediaverse? And yeah, maybe coasting, it doesn't you don't think of that word first, but I'll let you talk about it a little bit more.
So coasting is a kind of a special thing for us. And I remember me and Brian were on the subway, obviously going through multiple different names of what could have been. And something that really stands out to me and Brian and differences and similarities is he's from the East Coast. I'm from the West Coast. And a lot of the times we're on different time zones when we're in different locations, when I'm visiting family, when I'm, working out there. And it's something that as a viewer myself, when I'm watching anyone who releases certain things, whether it's like a TV show release, a streamer, or an event that's happening, when sometimes it's geared to one or another coast, I wish they would show both.
Yeah, definitely.
And so since I'm primarily from California and I've been here now for a while, I still think about that time zone, especially when I'm calling family and friends. And we also think it's kind of fun to coast through each of the different medias. So we were like, why not just kind of play on that?
Yeah, and also I've heard many people. Well, for one, if you told me that you were from New York City and you were from the East Coast, I would believe it. But at the same time, you're very much a West Coast person. And then I also sometimes get surprised that I've lived in New York my entire life. I guess I give off that West Coast energy to some degree, and I'll take it. I think it's something that you and I both have, where we both channel a little bit of those coast energies. We have that New York lifestyle, and then we have that, I guess, that West Coast chill.
It's
Is
like a
that how you
vibe.
describe
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's like a vibe for
Uh-huh.
sure. West Coast is more of a vibe, and then New York City just like your presence almost. I don't know how to describe it, in which we could get
Yeah,
into describing, but again, coasting the Mediaverse was created with the idea and the concept of we're hoping that we have people who are listening to this, and not just in the West and the East Coast, but on any coast that you're at, and
yeah,
you feel like we are caring about you and your time as a listener. And we also want to be able to start eventually identifying the differences between every region of media, not just even the United States. So
sure.
if you're listening out of here in a different country and that's completely different time zone, first of all, thank you so much for
Oh yeah.
joining us, and also let us know what maybe we're missing or we're not familiar with, because we're here to coast it all.
I would love to talk to people in the comments about people who are not from the United States and they're just sharing what their perspective on like what we think is like the East Coast and the West Coast. Because there are people that are so far East Coast, they're not even in America. They're in Europe or Africa or, anywhere. And that's exciting. They're so far east, they're across the Atlantic.
Right, and
That's
so
exciting.
yeah, and so just I think we wanted to spend some time on that. So how
Yeah.
about we just kind of get into it today? Where are we going, Brian?
In New York. We just got copyright stricken right there. I
Yeah.
sounded too much like Alicia Keys right there.
Yeah, and I think I would be more like New York, which is so not Frank Sinatra. That was so bad.
Well, okay, so how many times do you know when you go to Times Square, you hear that song, like
A lot,
the Alicia
yeah.
Keys in New York,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once every time you go down there? It's unfortunate because that's a good
It's a great song.
but I can't listen to it because it just destroys my brain.
Yeah,
At this
so there's
point.
that one. There's a Frank Sinatra New York song that plays a
Yeah.
lot. What other songs play?
Oh man, putting me on the
On the
spot. I didn't know
spot,
we were
like,
talking
I mean,
about New York
those are the
today.
two ones that just kind of, for me, anyways, are the most popular.
Yeah. Well, we could talk more about that in a sec. Let's get into like our, you've been here for how long? How many
I think
years?
5 years going on to 6.
Okay. Talk about your experience. What are you doing here, dude?
So I originally came to New York. Uh, it's a new journey in life.
Yeah.
At the time, I was really big into the film industry,
Sure.
so I was trying to figure out if I can do stuff out here.
Mm.
Which I was lucky enough to work on some productions as an extra on some shows. I got to work as PA on other shows. I was a key PA on Chopped. Shout out.
Oh.
So it was like a lot of fun to kind of get that experience, but it's a lot. It's a grind. It's a lot. And
Definitely.
eventually, I mean, I also just fell in love with the city, being here.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Me, I mean, I've lived on Long Island my entire life. And that's something that I need to point out right now. I live on Long Island. I don't live in Long Island. I live in Manhattan now. Manhattan is an island. I live in Manhattan. I don't live in Long Island. I live on Long Island. That is how you say it. If people want to fight me on that, let's do that, but that is the correct way of saying it.
Got it.
So yeah, I've lived on Long Island my entire life. I used to go into the city once or twice a year to see like a Broadway show or go to like a nice restaurant or a museum on like a school field trip or whatnot. Never really did any of the touristy things. To be honest, crazy thing, I have never seen the Brooklyn Bridge I've
Whoa,
never
yeah,
been
yeah.
there. I saw
Okay.
it on the subway and I've seen it at a distance, but I've never actually gone to the Brooklyn Bridge. But the Statue of Liberty, I've seen that, through museums and stuff like that, different field trips. But
You never been to it.
I've never been, and it's it's because when you're from there, you don't really think about it like that. I
Sure, and
guess.
it's also like the Empire State Building, and like I think there are a lot of tourist place. Right?
Sure.
So like you have that stuff. You have like destination locations, like museums are a really big popular one.
Yeah, of course.
Like the Met, the Gettysburg, the Whitney, and things like that.
The Gettysburg? that's in Pennsylvania.
What am I thinking of? No, there's
The
the
Guggenheim?
Hilarious, hilarious. The Gettysburg. Wow, look at me. There are a lot of like spots, right? There are a lot of tourist spots to go to. You also have your really popular food places that people know, like Cat's Deli,
Sure.
Joe's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have little things within each borough. We have the 5 boroughs. I'll name all 5. Pop
Oh,
quiz.
can I? Yeah. We've got Manhattan, we've got Brooklyn, we've got Queens, we got Bronx, and we got Staten Island. Here's the thing. Before coming into the city, so I came into the city 3 years ago. I've been living in the city full time for the past 3 years. Before coming into the city, I did not know how the subway system worked. I once accidentally went to West 145th when I was trying to go to the Met. Dude,
Ooh, yeah.
if you know the New York City geography, how did I do that? I do not know. I just saw a line that said Uptown from Penn Station. I was like, yeah, I got to go there. And I just ended up at 141st. And I was like, wait, how did that happen? But yeah, looking back, I used to confuse the Bronx and Staten Island, which is very funny now because now that's something I would never do. Like,
Yeah.
so I was never very familiar with the different boroughs. I knew Queens because Queens is close to Long Island, like from where I'm from. But yeah, I've been coming to the city I've lived in the city for 3 years now. I moved in with my partner. We are both in the entertainment industry. Like you, I've been on a couple sets here and there. But it's a tough industry. It's a pretty cutthroat industry. My partner does theater. My partner's worked in different things throughout that. But yeah, just like many of the people that we are friends with, we're all creatives in the city, just trying to, make a living and do the thing that we love doing.
Yeah, I mean that's so fair, and I think like speaking on what we are talking about landmarks and the tourist spots, like my first experience coming to the city, flying from the plane and landing here in JFK, which JFK is its own airport. Like I go to
Oh.
LAX. LAX is wild.
Yeah.
JFK is also one of those like insane airlines that
Mhm.
you can be so confused on.
Yeah.
And when I first came to the city, I was as someone who's been in LA a lot and someone that's used to a certain kind of city life. That was like New York was a whole new world. I remember being on the Uber to the apartment that I'd never been in before because I
Yeah.
got it over like one of those Zoom realtor kind of
Yeah.
situations. And yeah, I was like, no words, no words. I walk in like that, and I went, "Where am I? Like,
Yeah.
this is so different." I'd never been to New York before. It
I was
my
gonna say,
first
yeah,
time,
describe that, like, describe what
feeling.
it's like just kind of being thrown
It's like shell
into.
shocked, I think was the word I was trying to say. It's like
Okay.
you get out and you're just like, whoa.
Everyone's moving
Ev-
so fast.
And I like had my cat at the time, so I
Sure.
was like making sure they felt safe. They were stressed. I was stressed, and I was like,
Yeah.
I really don't know where I'm at. And it's like I think the first couple of days for me was like I didn't explore the city as much as I should have
That's
because I was
fair.
so nervous
Mhm.
about just being on a subway that I didn't know how to use or
Yeah.
going and getting lost, and it was a little unfamiliar territory. I don't have my car that I could just hop into. It's
Yeah.
like so
Being a car person and then going into the city is very jarring.
yeah.
Now I love it. Now I think
And
public transportation is awesome.
I
I don't have to
prefer
deal
it,
with the
yeah.
car situation. But yeah, it is very different. It's a different lifestyle.
100%. Like now, I feel very New York, and the idea that
You certainly do.
I do love walking. I'll
Yeah.
walk from Columbus Circle on 59th Street all the way to my apartment, all the way up here,
Yeah.
and it's just so fun.
You are someone who I know loves to walk. I think one time, no, you convinced me to walk like 40 blocks just so like we would just avoid the bus like situation.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm so glad that I remembered that because you said you would tell me why you don't like the buses on the pod. So now I am making you tell me why.
You're pointing your finger at me, so I have to.
Because I'm like, finally.
Okay, so I've just never had good bus experiences, and it's
Okay.
gotten worse being in New York.
Whoa.
Right, like in California, you could use the bus as transportation. It's what it is, but I never needed it because I had a car. I would just wait for
Sure.
a pickup. Here, like it is a good means, and like I know a
Yeah.
lot of people really like it because you're above ground, so you can use your phone. You have
Mhm.
reception. You can see the beautiful city and stuff like that. And like if you know the train lines, I imagine it's nice. But every single time I've gone on a train, it's been terrible. It's either so crowded and people are just sardines, even worse than a subway, not being respectful to each other,
Yeah.
or they pass me. I've had buses pass me up
Yep.
before, which is lame.
I can't stand that. At least trains have to stop at every stop. I have waved a bus down and it just drove right past me.
And
At
when
like 1 in the morning too.
when
I'm
a
like, oh,
subway
cool.
doesn't stop for you, it says it's not going to stop for you, right? And
Oh,
it just
yeah.
keeps going. The bus, they just look at you and they beeline
I
it.
feel like the driver just like even like laughs at me as he's
Is
driving
excited
past.
about it, right? I've been on a subway or a bus that was headed to JFK because the subways were having issues, and I was like, I'll just take a bus because
Yeah.
everyone tells me to take a bus, and the bus said headed to JFK Express, and I was like, perfect, I'm on the right one, and then we aren't getting there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on? And I see some people like with bags too, stressed out, and I asked the bus driver, hey, we headed to LA, oh no, like JFK, and they were like, no. I
What?
was like, what do you mean no? And they're like, oh, the thing's wrong.
That's
And so I had to hop off and run to a different bus. And it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, so every single time I have bad experiences. I have friends now who are trying to help me get over that.
like me.
Like you, but
I love
some people are
those.
actually doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so that's the thing with the bus. For some reason, the bus system. First off, I love the public transportation system in the city. Everything, of course, can be better. But I would take public transportation over every city having cars for millions of people. Something that we should all be switching to. But with that being said, there's nothing like getting off of a subway and having to get onto a bus and they don't line up, or even going from one train to another and you see it pulling away as your train is pulling into the station.
Yeah.
And you're like, why not just wait that extra second for the people that are transferring? But no, they don't care. They have those schedules.
Yeah, the schedules.
And
yeah.
nothing like a bus, the app telling you that it's going to be there in like 10 minutes, and then you see it pull away like 8 minutes later, and then you wait there and you think the next one's going to come in 2 minutes. No, the next one's in like 45 minutes. And you're like, great, this is fantastic. Or you see 5 of the same buses behind each other, like in a row. And I'm like, why not space out? Why not do
Yeah.
something? But, you know, all that to bashing to say, I was so proud of myself the other day. I get off the subway, I check the bus, and I see that it's 1 minute away. So I run up the stairs really quick, but unfortunately the bus is pulling away from the spot, and it was like 12:30 at night, random Wednesday. The next bus was 30 minutes away on the app, and I was like, "Ugh, I'm just going to have to wait." And then I thought about it, and I went, no, I'm going to catch this bus. And I sprinted a full city block, and I got that bus. Now, granted, the guy probably waited for me. Like, he probably saw me just sprinting down the street. And when I finally got on the bus, there were like 2 other people, so he probably didn't care. He knew, like, you know, he didn't have like a thing, like he had to stay on track. So shout out that bus driver. He was phenomenal. But I felt proud of myself. I could have waited another 30 minutes at the bus stop, you know, phone dying and everything. But I'm like, no, I'm going to get this bus. I felt good.
That is pretty nice. And I feel like if that was my experience with a bus, maybe I would like it more. But that's typically actually how I feel about the subways.
Sure.
And it reminds me of the concept of a New York superpower. I'm not sure if you've heard of the concept. Every New Yorker eventually figures out a superpower they have.
Yeah, see, I've heard you say that. I don't think I have one.
I mean, maybe it's related to the bus. Maybe you just unlocked it. I think
don't want that
maybe
to be my
buses
power.
would be my New York kryptonite.
Oh.
Because I'm always having to go wrong, but the subways are where my superpower comes in. I feel like I get pretty lucky with the subways to where I always typically usually make it right as I need to the exact train that I'm looking for. And in doing so, I'm on the right train, but also I get to take that superpower in next level and hold the doors for people that are also rushing and maybe aren't, you know, as fast enough or aren't going to run because they can't.
Bro's
And
literally Spider-Man, like holding
literally
the things open
how I
for the
feel anytime I
people.
hold the door. I'm like, this is like the scene out of Spider-Man. And I've even had times where the door gets stuck on someone. I'm not sure if you've experienced that. And then you just have to
It's
pry
happened to
it
me.
open. You get like, you're like, oh, I'm so strong. I'm glad I hit the gym one time out of 2 months. And yeah, I really like the subway though.
That's fair. I mean, I do like the subway as well. What is your favorite subway line?
That is a great question. My favorite subway line is the A train.
The A train,
The A
really?
train.
You're a West Side boy.
Yeah, I'm a West Side boy. The A train is great because when it's going express, it gets you pretty much to the places I like to go in Manhattan, very quickly, and it also takes me down to Brooklyn when I needed to.
Yeah.
And I like the A train. It's fun. I think it's a fun train. They also just redid the A train, so they're a lot newer. They did a marketing thing one time with the boys where like A train was on
That's
there,
really funny.
which is so much fun. And I know some people don't like it on the weekends because they're always doing construction on it, or it's always going local, and that makes it delayed for people going really high up.
Yeah.
I still think it's a great train. I never really run into times, even during the peak hours where it's like not too crowded. It's busy, but it's been really good experiences on there, and I just like it.
Sure.
What about you?
For me, I'm gonna have to say it's my green line. The 4, 5, and 6, but especially the 6. Most people probably want that express train. They want the 4 or the 5, but the 6 is so reliable. It is always showing up 5 to 10 minutes every time on the dot. Even late at night, it's always 5 to 10 minutes away. So if you miss the first one, the next one's close by. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna knock on wood right now. It almost is never shut down. If they're doing service on it, it's in the middle of the night, and then the next morning it's all clean. The 4 and the 5, it also gets me where you gotta go, but something about the 6 train. It could get you from the Bronx all the way to Brooklyn. It just does its job. It goes up and down the east coast of Manhattan. Just gets its job done. It's a reliable train. I love it.
It is a good train. Every time I've been on it, it's been nice. I just don't use it that much. I've used it more recently now because of where I'm at now in my new apartment.
Yeah.
It makes it super easy to get to from the Manhattan side of the east. What is the east side of Manhattan to the east side, but downer to like the actual traditional east side.
Yeah.
And that's nice because it's just right there. I
Oh,
just gotta
it's
walk
so
a little
good.
bit.
What's your least favorite train then?
Me and the L train have beef.
Yeah, I was thinking the L train too. I also want to throw out the Q train. The Q train, people want to hype up that Q train so bad. I can't stand that boy.
I used to live on the Q train for a while, and it was good, but it got you nowhere.
It doesn't get you anywhere. It stops at what, 96 or something like that. They're trying to expand it, but like, here's the thing. It's so unreliable for me.
The Q train was definitely not my fun. It was like the train I had to use when I was down there, but even then it wasn't even that good. But the L train. Me and the L train, I would run fades with the L train. The L train is always coming after me. I've always had bad experience with the L train, and I feel like I know a lot of people like it, and people usually use it reliably for Brooklyn, right? To get to Brooklyn and stuff, and it's nice because it has 2 L trains that when you get to the certain spot here, you can go back and forth. You have more options, but it's always running problems. I can't tell you how many times I've had issues. One that really stands out was when my sister came to the city, and she was excited, to be in the city, for me to take her around, and she had booked a tattoo appointment, like as one of the many things she wanted to do.
Nice.
So I was like, cool, I'll go, we'll take the train, I'll navigate us, no big deal. And we'd been having a good time on the trip so far. We get to the A, transfer to the L, and we're sitting on the L for like 15 minutes because there's a delay happening, some issue. And I feel really bad. I'm like, I'm sorry, sister. Like, I know it's taken a while. And she's like, no, it's fine. It's okay. Like, I'll just message the tattoo artist. We're running late. And I was like, no, I can't do this. They took time out of their schedule to give you a tattoo. We booked it. We were running late already. Let me just call us a car, and we'll get there on time.
Yeah.
So we get out, and my sister's like, just give it 5 more minutes. So we get back in. Nothing. Okay, so we get back out. Tell me why. We're walking up the stairs. The doors closed, train leaves.
Because the L train loves that. It loves to do that. It knew it was waiting for you to leave the train.
I feel like it was because there was no announcement. Yep. They love to make the announcements of they're delayed. They don't make the announcements that it was fixed on the L train specifically. No. And so it just closed on me. I turned around. I went, I hate you.
They were like, we are waiting for these 2 people to leave, and then the second they leave, we are closing and we are leaving.
And I'm glad if one of my kryptonites in New York City is the L train, and I'm so proud that I can give everyone else an amazing L train experience, but that is not for me. That's not how
No,
mine
I was
is.
gonna say I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, I love the L train, and you and I don't live in Brooklyn, so maybe some people really
People,
like the
yeah,
L
people in
train.
Brooklyn like the L train.
But like, I don't know, man. Every time I've ever been on the L train, I am just dealing with the weirdest people, and like, and you know, everyone's their own thing. And what's good about New York is that you're just doing your own thing. And actually, real quick, while we were talking about it, I think I know my kryptonite. It is New York City snow.
Oh, elaborate.
Because right now in New York City, it has not actually it snowed a little bit last night, but only like a quarter of an inch or something, and then it melted this morning. But it snowed crazy a couple weeks ago, and then everything gets plowed on the sides, and then it freezes and freezes and freezes, and then it just sits there for weeks. And now we're at a point where all of the curbs are covered in garbage. All the snow is brown and gray and yellow. I get, you know why. And I am, even if I'm wearing Docs or Tims, I am slipping and sliding on anything. And sometimes things are shoveled well where you can walk up and down and you don't even touch it, but sometimes you have to step over like the mounds that are placed on the curbs. And tell me why I'm always eating shit on that. Like I'm always just slipping on that.
That's so
I could be
funny.
wearing boots and that's just my kryptonite.
And I feel like that's a good segue into like New York tourists, or like the idea of like transplants, or people who are new to the city.
Yeah.
Um, that I see like people who are new to the city playing in that kind of snow. Like it's it's normal for people to play with the snow when it's
Yeah.
fresh and it's like it's snow.
Go to the park and play with untouched
When I
snow.
see people playing with dirty snow like that brown, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
No, so I know some people who don't live in the city and don't live in New York, and they live in areas where they don't see a lot of snow. And something that movies do a lot is when it's snowing in New York in like Christmas movies and whatnot, they make it look beautiful. And granted, for the first hour or the first couple of hours of snow in New York City, it is magical. Everything gets
100%.
quieter because it's like dampening the sound. It's pure white snow. It's very pristine. All the lights look so beautiful. And then the second something gets plowed, it looks horrendous because a day later all of the plowed snow gets pushed up onto the sides, and like I said, it becomes brown and gray because of the sidewalk and the whatever. And then the streets get salted, so the streets that are normally black get like a nice or like a weird like white gray like texture, and everything just looks terrible for like weeks. And like I don't know, that's just me where I'm just like snow is beautiful for the first like 4 hours in New York, but after that it's like no. But okay, so speaking of that, with like I talked about like how media portrays like New York with like the snow. Before you came to New York, were there any like movies or TV shows or things that made you think about like the image of New York in your mind, and then like you came here and like it either affirmed that or like it kind of broke that down?
Really good question. I think for me, as someone who grew up watching like a lot, again, cartoons were a really big thing
Yeah.
in my life. So, the ones that stand out the most would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Oh
and
yeah.
Spider Man.
Oh yeah.
TMNT is really what kind of solidified what New York would be for me in New York life. As people who were like staying in the sewers and kind of getting to experience New York the first time themselves,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool as someone who had not been in New York. So it's like the pizza being obsessed over it, or
Oh
the
yeah.
city life and like the taxis and how fast paced it is and how people are constantly moving through. And I think TMNT does a really good definition of talking about New Yorkers in a way that other media doesn't. So I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like other media like Elf or Home
Oh
Alone
yeah.
2 shows New Yorkers as being mean and aggressive and like
Yeah.
snarky and stuff, where I think in TMNT it kind of shows you more that New York, I think the people are, how do I put it? They're
So actually, I was also
I
thinking
think you know
that
what I'm talking about, right?
yes. So that's another thing that I wanted to ask you. Because you've grown up on the West Coast and then you have now lived in this area for like well over 5 years, would you say that the idea, because this is the thing that people say on the internet all the time, that people from California are nice but not kind,
Exactly what I was
and New
thinking.
Yorkers are not nice but they're kind?
And
Do
that's
you
what it
think that's
was.
true?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's what I was forgetting the
Okay.
terms that I was hearing, but it was that nice and kind. I think
Mm,
New Yorkers are very much kind, but that doesn't mean they're gonna be nice about it, right?
okay.
Like an example would be someone falling on the floor. I
Mm,
think if a New Yorker's walking by and they see someone fall, they're going to pick them up. They're gonna be kind, but they're not gonna be nice about it. They're not gonna be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? You know how you feel?" It's just like they pick you up and they're like, "Okay, can you hurry up? You're in my way."
yeah.
Right?
And they're not gonna try to start a conversation with you.
Yeah,
They're not trying to learn about you.
right. Where in LA or California, I feel like it's more like they're nice but not kind, where they're gonna pick you up, but they're gonna
Hmm.
make it a thing. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like, yeah, oh my God, like I helped you with
Oh
this,
my
like
God, I literally just helped
I'm
somebody
such a
get
good
off the thing,
person. Yeah,
and
like
it really made me think about
they're
life.
gonna
And
make a call to their family and be like, oh my God, I was such a hero
they
today.
were gonna help the person, but they have to set up their stand first with
The
the
camera and
camera.
the ring light, make sure it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like obviously dramatic effect, but I think that that's super true. And in like I said in TMNT, it was like you see a lot of these people who are living those kind of lives, and they really also describe community. Where I think
Sure.
New York is full of that community. People are really looking out for each other,
Yeah.
even if they're not checking up on them in their day to day. Where
Hmm.
in California, I feel like people are checking up on each other day to day, but they're not always caring about each other in the way that they should.
I feel like because I don't have a lot of experience with California, LA, and this is not generalizing everybody because not everybody's gonna do that.
For sure.
But I do think New York has less like you're caring for yourself first, but you are also looking out for the community. Whereas I feel like in LA, they care about the community, but at the end of the day, it's what matters to you more. Like
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of a good example of that. Like do you like I don't know. I
I feel like the creative industry kind of feels like that sometimes.
I guess you're right. I bet to me it almost feels like people are trying to network 100% of the time in LA. Whereas I feel like it just happens naturally here in the city just because people are just having a conversation. And then if you are in doing the same things or if you know somebody that's doing one thing and you want to get more involved in that, it comes on like that.
And yeah, and obviously not every single person in every place is the
No.
same way, but I do think it's a good like generalization of it. And hey, prove me wrong otherwise. Be good people in California. Love you guys, but
And that's the thing. I don't want to generalize because I don't typically believe in generalizations, but like it's a thing that I see all the time. If I'm on the subway, and it's a very crowded subway, and an elderly person gets on the train, somebody is getting up to give them their seat.
100%.
Not everybody. There are some people who are very young, very able to get up and do that, and then they see and then they just get back on their phone. But I guarantee on a crowded subway, there will be at least one person that will stand up for that person that needs that seat.
Definitely, and
Yeah. And that's the thing that I really appreciate about the city and the people.
100%. I think even people like again speaking in that differences like an A-lister like Keanu Reeves, right?
Hmm.
He has this whole repetition about like if he's on a subway, even if it's not even too crowded, and he sees someone that needs a seat, he'll get up.
Yeah.
And I give it to him, and it's just like it's kind of like a mindset I think
Yeah.
that everyone obviously has, which it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think in that same sense, New York is really about that community and really kind of supporting each other in ways that they can that don't always take away from their time. It's more just like a, well, I'm already doing this, you might as well do it with me
Yeah.
kind of mindset.
Okay, so you mentioned Keanu Reeves on the subway, which is just absolutely that just sounds exactly like him. We don't know him, but we know him. You lived in California. We live in New York City. These are two big places where a lot of celebrities lived. Let's name drop some people. Have you seen any celebrities just on the street?
Hmm.
Because here's the thing. I don't look at faces when I'm on the street. There are pictures that I see on the internet of like celebrities riding the subway, like it's like Jake Gyllenhaal on the subway.
Yeah.
I would never catch that it was the person. Because one, I'm not looking. And two, if I see someone that even kind of looks like them, I'm most likely not even giving it a second thought because I'm looking at my phone. And I try to just not look at people because, you know, you don't want to be rude. So yeah, I know people who are like, oh, I ran into this person. I ran into this. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I never see them.
I do not run into celebrities. I don't think unless I was working on a set.
Well, that's
Right, like,
different
on a
because it's
set-
like where you're going to see them, you
Sure,
know?
but I kind of want to drop who I saw on a set, which I saw Donald
it.
Glover on a set.
You saw Donald Glover on a... That's kind of
when I was an
crazy.
extra
I
on
love
Mr. and
that.
Mrs. Smith, and dude was so cool.
Okay, how are you just dropping that lore now? You were an extra on Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that.
Can we pull it up right now?
I don't, honestly,
Jamie, can we get it up on the TV?
I haven't seen the episode, and I probably was cut from it, to be honest, because it's just kind of how it is being an extra. Like, you record a lot of scenes, and you're probably not even in any of them. We could look at it later.
What were you doing?
Just standing around, just cruising. It was like
inside, outside. What
I
was
wasn't
it?
outside. It was like I think it was like a scene where they're like
What were they
passing
doing?
on packages and like they're
Oh.
getting chased and then they're running around
Okay.
in Chinatown. It was a lot of fun.
Was it filmed in Chinatown?
Mhm.
That's awesome.
So cool.
And that's the thing. Okay, so that's the other thing. Like, there are the boroughs, but then there are communities in the boroughs, and I love that little just mix of everything. It's really
Yeah.
fun. Because like you got like the Upper East Side, you got the Upper West Side, you got Harlem, you got Spanish Harlem, you go down south, you got Tribeca, you got Chelsea, you got Fidei, Soho.
There's
Am I
so
just
many
gonna name
like
them all?
brackets within brackets of the
yeah.
places, which it is a lot of fun.
Something about it is really cool. I like looking at the maps and seeing them defined by like the line, like the street. They could do a cutoff, and then if you go see it in person, you notice that difference.
Yeah.
The architecture is different. Whatever kind of shops or things that are, like the businesses that are in those areas, like, are different.
Mm-hmm.
The people talk about the Diamond District. That's literally like 2 blocks in the entire city. But if you go in that area, it looks completely different. And I just think it's really cool.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Diamond District, it's somewhere in Midtown. Oh, and that's something that I'm glad that I just brought up. Because Midtown, this is the thing. People think of New York City, they think of Midtown, they think of Times Square, they think of the ball dropping area, they think of the red staircase, they think of the giant billboards and Broadway. Sure, the city is that, and for most of my life coming into the city and I'm going to the Broadway shows, that is mostly all I saw. But the city is so different. For one, all the other boroughs that aren't Manhattan are extremely residential. There's going to be schools and apartment buildings that are residential, all of the small businesses, all the things like that. And it's quiet, you know? Granted, it's a city that never sleeps, but that's mostly like Times Square, where like those billboards are just on 24/7, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously don't love being there, which is like,
No.
I guess the one thing I'd like to shout out is if you are coming to the city for the first time,
Yeah.
and you're probably either not going to come for a very long time because it's not something you can do regularly, which makes sense when you go on vacation to places. If you really like tourist spots, like we mentioned in the beginning, I get that.
Yeah.
Sure, pick
Yeah.
one or two. But I think the beautiful thing about New York is everything that's not the tourist spots. Like, find the mom and pop shops, find the reviews from people who actually live here and like aren't just trying to plug the popular things. Like, there are gonna be some like we said, Cat's Deli. I think
I think the food spots, if they're really big, like Cat's Deli,
Papaya King.
and then I do think the museums are something that are different. Like, yeah, if you want to see the Statue of Liberty, and if you want to see Ellis Island, if you want to see, I don't know, any of the other things, the Empire State Building, go do that. But you really get a lot more if you go to the museums and if you go to the food places, just because that feels a little bit more cultural to the area.
Well, yeah, it's like New York City is the melting pot, right? We're all
Yeah.
aware of this. We all know this. And it's that for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's any food that you want, you can try it here in the city. And that's why
Yeah.
I love the city and I need to experience that more myself. Like, as someone who has been getting more into like the idea of food and culinary.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted any kind of food from any country, there's a place here in the city I can go.
100%. Like, yes, if you've never been to the city, get your pizza, get your bagels, but also try some Thai food that you've never had. Try some Korean food, try some Ethiopian food, try some Jamaican jerk. Like, it's so important to go to these places because also they're going to be smaller businesses. I think supporting smaller businesses is a very crucial thing in the city that I really appreciate. Like, yeah, if you really wanted to, you can go to chains because there are chains everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
But why do that when you can get, like, for one, bigger portions, two, better portions, and three, you're supporting a local business. And, you know, that's something that I really appreciate
And
about the
something
city.
I've noticed too is like obviously there are different thresholds to restaurants. Like you have a Michelin star restaurant that is authentic but more
Yeah.
expensive. There's a lot of small mom and pop shops I've gone to, especially in places like K-Town, where the food is like you said, a bigger portion.
Yeah.
It's really good quality. It's authentic and it's actually cheap. Like
It's cheap.
so much cheaper. You just
Yeah.
have to take the opportunity to get there and you got to travel. And a lot of people nowadays don't really love getting on the subway and going somewhere.
Yeah.
I would hop on the subway for an hour to 2 hours to go get dinner and call it a day. That sounds like a great time for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of people have those like, oh, I don't want to get on the subway for that long. And it's like, as someone who drove all the time in California, I love being on a subway and
Yeah.
being able to turn my brain off for a second, right?
Yeah.
And I think when it comes back to visiting, like, again, do the things you want, whatever kind of vacation you enjoy, do that. But just don't forget the things that really make New York, New York. Because it's not, in my opinion, not the Statue of Liberty, not Empire State Building. Like, those are things, they're sites, but it's the people.
For sure. And that's the thing. If you look online, if you see reviews from a place, from people, if you get recommended a place to go for dinner, you might show up to the place and it might not look like amazing on the outside because the thing is a lot of these businesses come in from other places, so they don't have a lot of time to like decorate the outside, or maybe they've been there for decades and that's just how it looks because New York City architecture, everything is crammed into these buildings. So it might not be the biggest spot. You might show up and you're like, oh, it's just a red door. And yeah, it's probably going to have the best food behind that red door. So like if people are recommending it, they're recommending it for a reason. So like there are some places, like if you're not in the city, you could show up to a restaurant and the restaurant looks beautiful and it has marble statues and it has fountains and you're like, oh damn, this is going to be expensive. And it's like, you know, good food and everything in there. But the city doesn't really have to do that. The city can have some really great treasure spots where you don't expect it just because it looks like a hole in the wall, but it doesn't have
But
to be that.
Yeah, like there's a place down in Chinatown,
Yeah.
right by around where the movie theater Metrograph is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a dumpling shop a block away
Yeah.
that has amazing dumplings, great scallion pancakes, and you get so much food for little. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing, and I'm just over here munching, happy.
Yeah. No, so I mean, we like, yeah, so get like we said this before, but get the pizza, try the New York City pizza. It's the best pizza in the world. Try the New York City bagels. It's the best bagels in the world. But also don't be afraid to try some things you've never heard of before because they're being made by the people who live in those cultures and it really shows. The New York City is a melting pot unlike anywhere else in the world, and that's something to be, you know, appreciative of.
Yeah, and I mean, I think again, like we said, get pizza every day. Do it. Like my brother loves doing that when he comes
Oh,
visiting.
yeah.
I like doing it. Even the bad pizza here is still better than a lot of the other pizza
Well,
places.
you know why?
I would love for you to talk about why. I love talking about why the bread is so good out here.
You know why pizza and bagels are so good in New York City? It's because we got shrimp in the water. We got shrimp in the water.
Little shrimps kneading so hard for us to feel better.
The shrimp need the dough while they're inside it, and they're making the pizza while they're getting cooked. It's a beautiful thing. No, but actually, like, there's whether there's shrimp in the water, nobody knows, but that's just like lore that people say for some
No,
reason.
there's like a science behind it. Do I know the science? Absolutely not.
No.
But I know that there are like great minerals and shrimp in our
Yeah.
water.
Well,
that
yeah,
are
so
microscopic, right?
So shout out MatPat, a YouTuber. He did an experiment where he shipped in water from different areas of the country, and then he kneaded doughs out of them. And they found that doughs that were made from the New York City water, which New York City water comes from like pure reservoirs upstate in like beautiful areas where they're coming down from mountains, going to really nice areas. So, it's not like just coming in from like the Hudson. Like, that would be, terrible. You jump into the Hudson, you're turning into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like
Give me 1 second.
But yeah, I think he showed in that experiment that New York City water makes dough fluffier, but also crunchier.
Crunchy. Yeah.
So it has that nice little dynamic. And hey, whether it's the minerals or the shrimp, I don't care. It's beautiful for a reason.
Yeah. Anytime I tell someone about that, that's like not from New York or just like either their reactions are to be like, "Oh, that's really interesting," or they're like, "That is disgusting." And I'm like, "Hey, but shrimp water tastes good.
Shrimp water tastes good. You heard it here first."
But going back to celebrities, we yapped for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you have a celebrity that you've seen?
No, it's really discouraging. Because like I said, I don't look at people when I'm on my commute. I am really someone who just puts my head down listening to music or a podcast, and I just cruise through my commute. So I could have passed like absolute A-list celebrities. I'm not going to dox myself, but I live in areas where I've heard celebrities say that they live in that area. And I'm like, bro, no, you don't. I'm walking around my neighborhood all the time and I don't see you. What's up with that? And, that's probably because they live in the richer area of my neighborhood. But hey, that's, whatever. But it's really funny living in New York and you follow certain celebrities on Instagram and everything. And you see they had a night out
somewhere, yeah.
Like I've sent it to you one time where, we're not going to say the celebrities, but like they were, not down the street, but they were like relatively close. And we're like, that's crazy that they're just there. And it's wild. But I don't look at faces. And if I did, I probably wouldn't think, oh, that person's that person. I just go, oh, they might look like them or,
And I'm the same way, like touching back on that. I don't really like to observe too much because I'm just too busy focusing on my own commute.
Yeah.
But I recently actually just remembered I did have a run into during the Christmas circle at Union Square. I forget what it's called. But it's with the Christmas market, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I was walking and I 100% know for a fact I saw Elliot Page.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's because he has like a specific smile.
For sure. I know what you're talking about.
You just know. When I saw them and I was like, this is amazing. My year is made. And I moved on with my life.
Yeah.
I'm not a person that wants to bug them because like they're here enjoying the market themselves, trying to have a good time. And if I start the domino effect, it's just going to be really annoying for them. Like, obviously, I'd like to be like, hey, Umbrella Academy's freaking amazing. I love you on that. But I do that, then someone else is going to make a big deal about it. It's dominoing down, and someone's going to be annoying. And they're like, now they got to go.
So you just don't want to ruin
So it's like,
day,
I don't want to ruin that. And so it's like, you enjoy your time. That was great to me.
Yeah.
Would they have probably been like, hey, hi, nice to meet you, whatever, been appreciated the small, subtle hi? Sure. But that's not the person I am. That was enough for me.
The only example that I can think of, which is also a story that I think just like encompasses Times Square in general. This kind of goes into what you said, where like you're on a set, so it doesn't really count. But I showed up to the memorial for Stephen Sondheim when he passed away. And it was a big memorial. There was a lot of Broadway people there. They were about to go to their matinees. And there was a huge crowd in Times Square. So it was a massive crowd, and there was someone talking over the speakers, and my girlfriend and I, we kind of just were talking back and forth, and we're like, is that Lin-Manuel Miranda? I mean, you couldn't see because, like, the crowds were huge, and you couldn't see the stage because it was far away. But the voice through the speakers kind of sounded like him, and it was really funny because then, like, we kind of just forgot about it, and we kept walking through the crowd. And then, really close to us, all of a sudden, Lin-Manuel Miranda right there. And it's just for a quick second, you just see him in the crowd. And you're like, whoa, it was him. That's cool. And then I come to find out, like I see on Instagram later that day that he spoke for a long time at that thing. And then he immediately walked off and went to one of the shows, which is really cool. And it's funny. And then, so what makes this a really funny, like, Times Square story is that 30 seconds after that, my girlfriend and I are walking. We're going to go grab a cup of coffee, and a guy starts sprinting towards us, and he just runs directly in between us. Like, we were holding hands and we like let go, and he like ran right past us. And a guy is chasing after him, and the guy chasing after him is like in an apron and everything. The guy that ran through us stole a tip jar from this
Oh my
pizzeria,
god, yeah.
and he just like ran through them and like that. So we were like shaken from that, but like it's just really funny that like to me that's like it just encompasses the chaotic nature that like Times
Yeah.
Square can have.
It's like an Uncut Gems kind of moment.
Yeah, it really is. It was just so goofy. And then we were just like in the coffee shop, just like that was too much to happen in that quick of a time.
My name is Hamilton. Sorry, the itch was really bad.
That was great. Okay, I think you did that episode 5.
I did.
Because I think
every time I hear him, I have to do it. I just have to, or else my brain's gonna explode.
You got to see a Broadway show, dude.
I've seen one.
Which show?
Moulin Rouge.
Okay, Moulin Rouge is a great show. The set decoration, absolutely wonderful.
I mean, yeah, I love the movie so much, and I was like, it used to be on top 4 for a long time, and then I've seen other things, but I was like, if I got to see one, it's that one.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to go to more. It's kind of like when we talked about concerts and going by yourself. I can go to a movie by myself, easy. Concert was the first time.
Yeah.
I guess I feel weird going to a Broadway myself. I would love to experience that with someone.
To me, I guess because I haven't gone to a lot, going to a Broadway show would be a lot by yourself. Because to me, they've always felt like events.
Exactly.
So, one, they're expensive. So, like...
I know there's tips and tricks around. I just haven't really done it, but...
Yeah. Nothing like rushing for a ticket.
Yeah, right.
Going early in the morning, going to the box office. I did that for Shucked when it was in the theater. It was pretty good. But yeah. What other things in like media would you say is like that encompasses New York, or like that it revolves around New York?
I think obviously one of my number one movies, When Harry Met Sally.
Oh yeah, sure.
And we talked about Cat's Deli a lot.
Uh-huh.
But let's get into Cat's Deli for a second.
Yeah.
Because I know you love Cat's Deli too.
I love Cat's Deli. Here's the thing about Cat's Deli. Can I go down the street and grab a pastrami sandwich from the local deli? Yes. Will I make an hour trip to Cat's Deli and then wait online for another 30 to 45 minutes? I absolutely will. Because there's a reason why these places are so popular.
And why they're always in movies, or like why the movie specifically has put it as a centerpiece, right?
It's amazing. And yeah, it's amazing food, but also they give you samples. Like, it's just the atmosphere of the place. The people there that are working, like, you can tell, like, they're hardworking people, but you can tell they have a passion for it as well. And, like, everyone that's there is so jazzed to be there, like, the customers. And yeah, just the When Harry Met Sally of it all. I think that's really funny. Like, seeing the thing that's really fun about New York is seeing something in media. Like, if I'm watching Elf and I see a particular street or I see a monument, and then seeing it in person. When I first came to the city, that was one of the things that I thought was really cool. Like, the Spider-Man movies did that a lot.
Yeah.
Where I would see something from the Spider-Man movies, and then I would see it in real life. And I remember being a kid, and I was just being blown away by that.
100%.
It's just so fun.
I think even with, like, Harry Met Sally does a really good breakdown of the seasons in New York City.
Yeah.
Because New York City really does get pretty much every season.
We hit all the seasons.
And how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's really fun. You get to see it through the trees, right? Like the trees.
Yeah.
Obviously, the beautiful version of showing you like fall and winter and summer, and it's just exciting to kind of get those differences. What other media?
What other media? Well, because I'm thinking of like, so I mentioned Spider-Man, and then I realized that there are so many New York City superheroes. Yeah. Like shout out my dude Daredevil. Only protecting Hell's Kitchen, which is so funny because it's like he's only protecting like a 15 block like area.
Spider-Man's going so hard.
Spider-Man's going all over Manhattan, Queens, bro, like wherever he needs to go. And then Daredevil's like, oh, that's taking place on 59th? Yeah, not my area. Like, yeah, and I did, you have
Avengers Tower, obviously, and
Avengers Tower, which is real. Like, I was there earlier,
Yeah, it's an actual building.
I saw Tony Stark.
Tony was there. He waved to you and everything, right? That's what he told me.
It was like Avengers Campus. It was nice.
Avengers Campus. And I think obviously superhero movies do show a lot of kind of that stuff, like the halal at the end of what is shawarma? No, shawarma. They did shawarma.
The shawarma at the end. And then I'm just thinking of different things off the top of my head. I know The Sopranos takes place mostly in like northern New Jersey, but like there's a lot of the New York
Yeah.
element of it all too.
You have the episode where they're in New York. And
Goodfellas is also New York.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Which there are some
Yeah.
movies like that to show you the chaos of New York, and it kind of is like busy like that.
Yeah, it's also the history of
The
New
history
York.
of New
So
York.
because that's very real
And the
and
taxi cab, like medallion stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, there's like a lot of other ones. I mean, New York, I think, is so cinematic. It's one of those places that just feels like a movie while you're here. So that's why you see a lot of movies based around the city, and I think they all capture it in different ways, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And like I think there are movies and shows that create sets to kind of represent the city, but then New York City is just so unique that like a lot of times they just film here.
Yeah.
Like you have sitcoms, I think, are probably the best ones
Oh,
that
for
define
sure.
New York. Like not Harry and Sally, How I Met Your Mother,
Yep.
and Friends. I think
Yeah.
those two are staples for me.
Sure. And Seinfeld.
And Seinfeld.
So yeah, How I Met Your Mother. I think a lot of those sets. I think a lot of times when they're like outside the bar, those brownstones look like they can be anywhere in the city. Like it does look very much like the city. And then Friends. Every now and then they'll throw out a place where I'm like, oh yeah, that place. Like I think Ross works at the Natural History Museum, and you're like, oh yeah, I've passed that.
Yeah.
Or I guess I went there I've gone there twice now actually for school field trips.
It's a fun museum.
No, but it's funny because it's like I said, it's something about seeing the place you live in media is just really exciting.
Yeah.
Like has your hometown like ever been mentioned in something? Like I'm not gonna mention my hometown, but there are times in like sitcoms, just because like the people that grew up in my hometown, they'll just throw it out there, and it becomes everyone's little favorite episode where they're like, "Oh my god, we got a hometown mention," and like New York City gets mentioned in everything, so like it's whatever, and like LA does too.
Sure.
But I'm sure if you're from like St. Louis, Missouri, or even like a small thing, and someone throws out that name, you probably get so hype about that. And that's how I feel when someone says like, "Oh, this neighborhood in the city," and I go, "Oh, that's where I live," and
And I get what you're saying. It's funny enough, my city, the only time I've ever heard it was on Catfish.
Really, that's really funny.
I remember hearing on the episode going like, wow, of course that's what we're known for.
But then you get hit with like
But-
the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme where you're like the
Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
you go, mom, they're talking about our town on Catfish.
But everyone's just sitting there like embarrassed, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think going back to the shows, it really does show you kind of how it is to be in a friend group in New York City, and obviously everyone's friend groups are different, and there are multiple shows that might fit people more, like Gossip Girl's a really big one.
I know, yeah.
So there's a lot of different kinds of New York developments and friend groups and people and stuff like that. So I think you might have something for you when you think of New York City friend group. You go to one of your favorite shows. I think for me, How
Yeah.
I Met Your Mother kind of shows more an example of that like more adventurous side of the Friends, where
For
it's
sure.
like that episode that they're hunting down to find the number one burger that Marshall had.
And that's such a relatable experience in New York City. You have anything like that?
Ooh, I don't think I have one top of mind that's like it's a place I haven't gone that I'm still hunting for. What about you?
I one time I went into the city before I lived in the city, and I went with some friends to this one bar because I think it was someone's birthday, and then we went to a different location and then another location, and then we got food after at a local place. It's hard to find that now because I don't remember the locations that went from one to another to the
Tragic.
next, and like places close down and stuff all the time. So I think even the OG, the original bar that we went to, like I can't even trace that anymore because it's
Oh,
gone.
no,
So like
yeah.
it's tough. I know it's in the Lower East Side, but the Lower East Side gets tricky because it's not a grid system. It's kind of just all over the place. So I know it's somewhere down there, and it might not even be open anymore. It might be closed, but it was phenomenal. It was So it was a burger place, but I think it was really the fries where I was just like,
Yeah.
what did they do to these fries?
Why were these fries so goated?
Putting something in them because
And- And then you're looking for like specific napkins that you're like, if I see this napkin, I'm gonna know it's that spot. But
yeah,
yeah, and then I think going to Friends shows you more the casual side, the more laid back, right?
yeah.
Like having the spot that you're constantly going to for coffee or whatever.
Having that third space. The thing is, our generation really likes to talk about a third space and more so the lack of a third space. But in the city, you kind of have to have that, or you just go to people's apartments. And that's kind of what they do. Most of their sets are spending time in Monica and Rachel's apartment, or in Joey and Chandler's apartment, or at the coffee place. And that's what's really fun.
Central Perk.
Yeah, exactly. You and I met in a coffee place.
Yeah, we
And
did.
we hung out in that coffee place a lot.
And we started cooking ideas in that coffee place. So
Exactly.
it was our norm. Yeah, I definitely. It's nice, right? It's a nice feeling to see those stuff and to be able to experience it. And again, going back to visiting, I think like media, as we talk about all the time, is
Mhm.
such a fun way to kind of find places you want to explore when you go somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to go to these places characters go that you're like, oh, I wonder why they liked it so much. And I think in general, media has a good reputation for putting popular spots or not so popular spots into the popular market, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Cat Sully wasn't popular before the movie, but it definitely
Yeah.
spotlighted it, and that's why they have all the merch, not merch, but the art around it and stuff like
Yes.
that. I think that's great.
Like Cat's Deli will always be Cat's Deli regardless of When Harry Met Sally. But there are some people that are definitely going into the city and being like, oh, we have to go to Cat's Deli because that's the thing from Harry Met Sally.
Which I did, right?
Exactly,
When I moved
yeah.
here, I was like, I would rather much go to Cat's Deli over the Statue of Liberty for one of the first things I do in New York.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. So yeah, I think like a good time right now in the comments if you are a New York City native or someone who has been to New York before or you live here now. Drop in the comments some places that maybe we should go experience that we didn't name on the list, or for anyone else in a different coast that's planning on visiting New York after this episode, let them know. Let them know the spots. Put them on.
Ask us questions too, and feel free to let us know if we did or didn't mention your favorite spots, because it's what's great about the city is that there are a billion things to do. I didn't even talk about one of my favorite places, Central Park. You said the seasons. That is a perfect place to experience all the seasons. But yeah, if you are coming into the city for the first time and this is a bit of an introduction to it, let us know where you plan on going. Ask us for recommendations. We'll be glad to give you some stuff. And then yeah, if you are a native New Yorker, tell us how we did. Tell us how we repped your
missed
area.
everything. And I think it's kind of hard to comment sometimes here and there. I get it, but if you just want to post like my favorite pizza place is this, or my favorite bagel spot is this, do that. That's fun. Be a little like, no, this is my area. Like Bagel Bob's, a place on the east side. Like
Yeah.
I've told you that you've never been, which is crazy.
I go to Pop Up Bagel.
My favorite Pop Bagel's great, but Bagel
Uh-huh.
Bob's, they took care of me for a year when I was on
They
the
do.
east side. They were super nice to me. They all spoke to me in like such a familiar way when I, was even before I was a regular there, and they made me feel comfortable. So it's like
Yeah.
that's why I like New York City. I like bodegas. I think there's just this like very nice community that even if you're never gonna see the person past that one time you walk in, it's just a good vibe.
It's really great because like we talked about the pizzas and the bagels and everything. What's great about every neighborhood in the area is that there's always a bodega that you can just go, and after 4 or 5 visits, they become your guys. The guy at the grill making your bacon, egg, and cheese. It's it's a interesting relationship where you're not seeing them outside of that, but it's just really fun and it really makes community feel like community. And that's the thing, because you can be in a big city, and if you're someone who's never lived in a big city, and you come into New York for the first time, it might be a little scary. You might see a lot of people, or you might live in an apartment building with more people than you've ever lived close to, and that might be a little daunting. But you just meet these people, you just talk to them, even casually, just talk to the people in your building, your safety
baristas that
permitting.
you're going
but-
to if you're visiting.
yeah, your local baristas, your local deli guys, your local pizzeria. And I promise you, like, it's very easy for this place to feel like home really quick. Because I'm sure you had that feeling.
100%. Like I
And,
said,
yeah.
you can bump into someone and just ask them a question. They would love to answer it and then move on with their day.
Exactly.
When I was working in hospitality in New York City, if I had people come in and ask me recommendation, I'd love to give it to them because, like I said, I want them to go to the good spots and not
Yeah.
the ones that I would not recommend.
Yeah.
And there's so much media to talk about in New York. We barely even like touch the surface of it. I'd love to get more into that in a future episode. But again, thank you so much for listening to us talk about what New York City experience kind of like was for us and things we just wanted to mention and top out. If you enjoyed this, like, follow, and subscribe. It really helps a lot. But
It does.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys. Like Michael said, follow us, like, comment, subscribe. It means the world to us, and it helps us get out to more people. But yo, we were talking about New York. We're probably gonna do a part 2, like we said we did with all of the movies, or like we're gonna do with all the episodes that we did. But yeah, that's been our New York episode. Thank you for listening. This is Coasting the Mediaverse. I'm Brian.
And I'm Michael.
Coast you later, y'all.
Wait, we didn't even talk about our bagel and pizza orders.
We didn't. We totally did not talk about our
Okay,
bagel
just
and
run it
pizza
through real
orders.
quick for those that stayed for the credits.
You go.
My pizza order, I'm a plain cheese guy. I've become a New Yorker that just gets a plain cheese. It's how I taste every single one and make sure it's up to quality. Specialties could be fun and exciting, but a plain cheese is the way to go.
Yeah, classic cheese pizza is amazing. Plain slice is fantastic. I'm a specialty slice guy. I like the buffalo chicken pizza. I like a penne vodka pizza. But yeah, all right, quick. What is your bagel order?
A bagel order, I'm a classic guy. I like everything bagel with cream cheese, scallion cheese. to be
Scallion
specific,
cream cheese, yeah.
But also bacon, egg, and cheese. Can't go wrong with that.
What's your bacon, egg, and cheese
Bacon,
order?
egg, and
That's
cheese with a
different.
chipotle mayo, and now on a roll.
Yeah.
I've been put on by the bodega guys. Chipotle mayo is the way to do it.
Yeah, okay. So bagel order, I'm plain. I'm an egg bagel with butter toasted. That's easy. That's simple and easy. My bacon, egg, and cheese order is a bacon, egg, and cheese with a hash brown, ketchup, mayo, salt, pepper, ketchup. I already said ketchup. But on a roll.
And don't
So-
forget the bev.
And what's the bev?
Never. For me, usually like a Sprite
The
or
Aki way?
the Aki.
No, the bev for me, I'm usually drinking coffee. I drink coffee literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I do love a coffee from bodega.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We just had to include this because we were so mad.
Well, yeah, they roast us in the comments and putting this in the end credits. But hey, thanks for staying. Maybe more end credits coming soon.
I'm prepared for people to be like, whoa, you guys didn't even talk about this, and I'm gonna be like, yo, you're a fake fan.
Why did you listen to
You're a fake fan.
Listen to it.
Anyways, goodbye.